a.m. at Jericho Hospital in Nevada. Janet and Joseph.
I mean,
Yeah, I always say that. I guess that's the scientific part of me.
yes.
Permutation in scientific term is the number of combinations possible. If you have numbers from 1 to 10, how many times can you combine it? 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Permutations can go extensively. It's the number of combinations, and everything is incidental. And this is what life is. We are all permutations because we are all kind of tied to our environment. The day you were born, the lunar, the moon, the water, the tide, the people who were around, the temperature, the temperament of your mother. Those are all the permutations. Those are all the ingredients that go into the permutation that makes us unique. I believe as a human being we have a spirit, and the permutations is the environmental conditions that form the expression of the spirit. And that's what I mean by permutation. Your great-grandfather seeing somebody flying a plane. So God is descended on earth. There was a time, it was a sin to think the world was round.
Yeah.
The Greek were the most barbaric human beings before the civilization they got from Egypt. They used to think the world was flat. And they thought if you think otherwise, you are satanic. So you see how really irrelevant, and there's nothing in this world that is supernatural. Everything is a matter of understanding. What is supernatural today will become an understanding of tomorrow. We didn't know nuclear theory, and it's always existed. Nuclear theory has always existed on this earth. There's a law governing this universe that is universal, and it's always existed. And we as human beings just discovers it.
So
It's a universal concept. I believe Ernest Holmes, his theory of a God, is that we all have a conscious spirit, but we delve into our subconscious. And that subconscious is a universal subconscious. It's one entity. Your subconscious, the poor man on the street, the madman, we all have the same subconscious, and that's God. We all go back into it to tap to get our resources. Where does the idea come from? All of a sudden you wake up and Einstein starts thinking of relativity, mc squared. Where does it come from? And it's always existed. He's trying to come up with a law that matches what exists. From eternity, when you drop a ball, it falls down. There's no human being that is here today that wasn't here yesterday. Because you must have a father, and your father must have a father, and he must have a father, and he must have been there in the first day. There must have been one father in the first day, and that's the universality, which I call God. That is not proud of his or her heritage is a bastard, because you cannot live with yourself. It's the product of what you are today. And as a conscious man, you have to recognize your heritage, because a lot of your reflexes are developed from it. Yoruba culture, I believe, and everybody has to be proud of his culture. I think it's one of the most profound culture in the world. And it starts with the language. You can tell from the Yoruba language that these are cunning people, with the proverbs, with the way they twist words. A lot of Yoruba words are not, expressions are not translatable to English. Yoruba is a very expressive language. English is not. Like Baja says, how do you translate Onyi Musimi?
twisted his nose on it.
No, you really
Yeah,
can't.
So,
I think in Yoruba culture, I've learned humility, because all Yoruba culture is about humility. It shows that humility begets your downfall. It's always a story about the japa, the tortoise, and the deer that is running fast and showing off, and he saw a place and got a drink, and the tortoise just kept going. And he got to another place and saw some food, and the tortoise just kept going. And after eating too much, he fell asleep, and the tortoise going on. And he saw a girl, you know how niggas are. And the tortoise kept going. And that is the Yoruba man. You just keep going steadily, steadily. A steady growth is better than spontaneous, irrational growth, because you really don't have the support infrastructure. There are these immatured, unintelligent jocks and the next day they have $1 billion to support their own intelligence. So they do the same stupid things. And the first thing you know, you see all the blink blink and all those stupid, because they never really developed to match what was coming to them. And that is steady growth, and that's Yoruba for you. You know, you have to just steadily pace yourself. Don't be in a rush, because all these things, they have their balance.
I've never thought that money was that important to you.
It has its place. You know, it's been a dichotomy for me. Sometimes I wish I have it. Sometimes I know I'm better off without it. The people I associate with don't have money. So how can I have money in the midst of people who don't have money? That's already a dichotomy. Remember when I was in cave, all my friends, they didn't have money. Imagine if I was the only one who had money in the middle of all of them. You imagine what trouble it would have cost me? I must not have money to be able to function among the people I have. Right now, if I have money, it cannot change my life. I will not buy new shoes. I will not buy new clothes. If I have money, I'll put it to use. I think I can contribute into transforming this world into a better place. And that's the only use money can come for to me. I would like to have a nice car. I like those Z3. I might buy one of those.
Ammo.
Yeah, ammo.
The word is ammo, buy one. Now, let's...
The means. It was a supportive means. Just like my philosophy, just like my fine art, just like my music, just like my drama. I need all those things to make me the person I am, to be able to understand and enjoy everything about life. This is an experiment.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be doing anything anybody else has done. It's not worth my time. I have to be able to come up with what is me. And those are all the things that I used to be political person.
Talking about
I'm interested in the organizational structure of the human nature,
which is politics,
which eventually translates to politics. But the basis of it is still an organizational structure. Politics, and politics goes with democracy. I think is an imperfect way of governance. And I think America, that is supposed to be the epitome of democracy, is still just barely a success. And there's no other nation that can practice democracy like America, because it takes the exploitation of other places. And if you don't have anybody to exploit, how are you going to function with your democracy? What kind of democracy you have when there's apathy? When you have a presidential election and 51% of the eligible voters don't even participate? Is that democracy? You really don't have democracy in America, because the people don't participate. And it's convenient for the politicians that allow each individual, that compels each individual to live up to his responsibility. Freedom is not cheap. Enslavement is easier. Then you don't have to make any decisions. When you are free, that means you have to make decisions. And it's a lot of responsibility. And most people don't discharge that responsibility.
So when you stability